Brian Kelly works so hard at recruiting, and that staff works so hard. And there are a lot of kids they just cannot get into or keep in school at Notre Dame. They get so many exemptions per year. I don't know what that exact number is, but realistically, there's a lot of kids that you can get into school at LSU and keep eligible at LSU who can't handle the coursework at Notre Dame, or who character-wise Notre Dame would probably say no to. And Brian Kelly's not getting any younger. He's gone to the national championship game and gotten stomped. He's gone to the playoff and gotten stomped. He has consistently produced top 10 or top 5 quality teams there at Notre Dame. I think this is him saying, I want to go for it. I want to be able to recruit all those guys. All these guys we try to go to the South for and finish second for. I don't want to finish second. I want to get all those big dudes from the state of Louisiana, right? 2.0 core GPA, good enough test score, badass on the field. All right. Get in. I want to make a run of this thing before I retire. That's what I think this is.
Danny?
I think it could be perfect. I think it really could be perfect. Is my internet horrible? If it is, I'm going to get wild.
You're great. You're all good. Oh, now he's gone.
Well, now Dennis' internet is terrible.
All right. Well, I but it's weird to me because it's like earlier this year, Brian Kelly was asked, he made a comment that Marcus Freeman's going to be the next head coach at Notre Dame. And what I took away from it was, he was just pumping up his new defensive coordinator, who was doing an excellent job at Cincinnati and by all accounts had been doing an excellent job in South Bend, both on the field and on the recruiting trail. But I kind of took it as a Brian Kelly was maybe feeling like he was nearing the end of his string. I thought maybe just as a coach, like maybe he was approaching getting ready to retire and he thought that he had done enough at Notre Dame and probably taken it as far as he can reasonably be expected to take it. They've been to the playoff twice in 3 years. They don't have a conference. As the playoff expands to 12 schools, if buys are reserved for conference champions, that would make it far more difficult for Notre Dame to win a national title. So I thought maybe he was just kind of getting to a place where he was ready to hang it up. So I guess I'm surprised in that he's leaving Notre Dame for LSU, and I thought he was just going to stay there for a few more years and call it a career. But Danny, you think that this is something that could be perfect?
I do. So LSU has been kind of this place that's a little bit like the Wild Wild West, right? They don't care. They can overlook, Les Miles' quirks. I think so. They can get over, Ed Ogeron's history. He's a little bit, shaky. But what did Nick Saban have? Nick Saban had structure, discipline, combination with best talent, that he could buy, that he could recruit. And now you get that with a coach who has proven everywhere he's been that he's a winner. And it's not just Notre Dame. This is a coach with basically a perfect resume. And I know it kind of sounds crazy to even say this, because when I talk about coaches that win with less, I'm always more impressed by guys like Pat Fitzgerald or David Cutcliffe at Duke. Brian Kelly's been winning with less than they have at Alabama, then Georgia, then Oklahoma. He's been winning consistently and adapted to the times, all of it, where I think this is slam dunk. I really do. You bring in that discipline, his style, with the talent, you pair it up with the enthusiasm, the resources he's going to get. There's a part of me that wonders personality-wise, I think he's going to be similar to Saban. Hey, this is my way or the highway. Either get on board or get out. And because he does have some cachet, he's got success, I think he can get away with it.
It is going to be kind of weird culturally to me, though, because this is a guy who he's from the Northeast. I think he's from Massachusetts. He's from the New England area. He's an Irish Catholic guy who was coaching at the Irish Catholic school. And now it's I just wonder culturally how the Irish Catholic guy from the Northeast is going to fit in Baton Rouge in that environment. Although, I don't know. I haven't run a census there lately, but I do believe there's a large Catholic population.
It's pretty Catholic.
Yeah. So I think that way he'll fit in. It's Brian Kelly's always kind of struck me as an Irish cop, and now he's going to be in New Orleans. And we joked about it earlier today, but it's coming soon to Paramount Plus, the Irish cop in Baton Rouge. So it's going to be interesting to see. I do agree with you, Danny. He does have some Saban-like tendencies, both in his approach to putting together a program, and both in just kind of a salty, gruff attitude that, it's his way or the highway. And I don't know. I am still surprised though, because like, it feels like LSU, if you go by names, it hit a quote unquote home run, but I also feel like it wasn't their first choice. So it's kind of one of those weird options where it's like, maybe they got down a lot further on the list than they expected, and they're still going to come out feeling great.
So this really does fit with what Scott Woodward has done all throughout his career. He is really big on track record, not so much on upside, but like he wants to find guys who are really proven and then overpay for it or pay top dollar for it, depending on your viewpoint, right? Chris Peterson, very proven winner at Boise State. Jimbo Fisher, really proven winner, obviously, at Florida State until the last year. Kim Mulkey, the basketball coach from Baylor, one of the very best in the sport. I think a lot of people didn't mention Brian Kelly early on because it'll be an interesting cultural fit. We'll see. And then B, by all accounts, the guy was pretty happy at Notre Dame. But again, how old is Brian Kelly? 61?
60.
60. Yeah. All right. So take a look at that. Not a lot of guys older than 60 win a national title. The clock is, of course, ticking on his career. You don't know how long Nick Saban's going to be at Alabama. My guess is Brian Kelly will be at LSU longer than Saban, I think he'll be there when Saban leaves Alabama. It's hard to see this failing spectacularly. There's no guarantee he actually wins that national title. There is a ton of competition in that league, but it's a very proven winner. Guy's shown he can replace coaches on both sides of the ball. They do recruit about as well as you could possibly expect Notre Dame to do. And now the governor's off. You can go after a much bigger pool of kids academically and character-wise.